of thousands of displaced Somalis are facing multiple health problems, which doctors say are compounded by overcrowding. Joining us now on the phone is Dr. Mohammed Gedi, director of the MSF General Hospital at Dakhale refugee camp near Dadaab. Dr. Gedi, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Vincent.
Now, first up, help us understand what are some of the health issues that you're dealing with there in those camps.
The biggest health issue that we're dealing with currently is malnutrition. In the last 5 months, we've seen a sharp increase in the number of malnourished children. Initially, we used to manage about 40 malnourished patients in a month. Now we're talking of about 450 children in a month. That's more than 10 times the number that we were treating a year ago. Mm-hmm. Apart from this, there's an outbreak of measles in the camp. In the past few weeks, we've seen hundreds of measles in the hospital that are admitted. In the month, during the last 1 year, we've seen less than 10 cases in every 3 or 4 months. Now we're talking about 100 cases in the past few weeks. Most of these, almost all the measles cases are among people who newly arrived from Somalia, as well as the malnutrition, people who've come to the camp and getting malnourished in the camp.
Yes. Now, Dr. Gedi, you know, when people think about those camps, they think about food. Give us a sense of what it takes to treat a person who is suffering from malnutrition, a child or an adult, whatever the case may be.
It takes a lot. It's not just the medicine. We're talking about malnutrition. When we say malnutrition, we're talking about someone who landed in the hospital not because of a medical illness, but because of lack of food. People who have nothing to eat that get medical complications as a result of lack of nutrition. These are people who have enormous social problems. We're talking of mothers who've been raped on the way while coming across the border to Kenya. We're talking of mothers who've left some of their children because they could not manage the journey to come to Dadaab refugee camp. Most of them have lost children on the way because of the hunger. So the psychological effect it creates in the people, in the mothers, in the fathers that bring these children is something that takes 90% of our time that we are addressing. The nutrition bit and the medical needs are there, but these are people who have a lot of psychosocial trauma.
Now, what does it take to restore somebody to a state where they can even now consume normal food, even if it's available?
These are people who've never seen any kind of medical care in their lives. So when you giving them intravenous fluids, when you're giving them feeding tubes from the nose into the stomach, it's a very big issue, and you have to take hours, if not days, for them to accept. And in the process, before they accept this kind of treatment, we lose people in the process of convincing them. We've have cases where children have been prepared to be buried in a grave, and after a lot of convincing for hours, they allow us to come with the children to the hospital and give them at least some food.
Very, very briefly, what does the situation look like in the coming days? Are you hopeful things are going to get better, or you're concerned it might get worse?
As long as people are trekking thousands of kilometers to the refugee camp, we expect the same. We don't expect any rains in the next few months, maybe November, December. So as long as we have this drought, the famine that is continuing, as long as we have people moving across the border thousands of kilometers away, we will have the same problem.
Well, Dr. Gedi, thanks very much for joining us. That's Dr. Gedi, who is the director of the MSF General Hospital at Dakhale refugee camp near Dadaab in northern Kenya.
South Africa, where former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak the trial resumed on Monday in Cairo but was then abruptly adjourned by the judge until September 5th. The judge also stopped live television broadcasts of any future hearings. Mubarak pleaded not guilty earlier this month to charges that he ordered the killings of 850 protesters during the uprising that ousted him from power. The embattled 83-year-old former leader appeared in the courtroom today, reclined on a hospital bed, as in the opening of the trial on August 3rd. Mubarak also faces charges of corruption and abuse of power and could get the death penalty if convicted. His sons Allah and Gamal, who are co-defendants in the case, were also inside the defendant's large metal cage. Meanwhile, supporters and opponents of Mubarak clashed outside the courthouse.